to another episode of Forensically Speaking. Today we have our guest, Miss Ware. She's a part of the Ritenour School District. It's the leadership program, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mrs. Ware, how long have you been with Ritenour?
I have been working at Ritenour High School for about 2.5 years. I actually graduated from Ritenour in 2017. So I came back to my alma mater just to teach and inspire the children that will aspire at a place that once inspired me. Thank you.
Can you give me a little overview, detailed background of what the leadership program entails?
So the leadership program essentially is the student council of Ritenour High School. So other high schools have student councils. We have our leadership program. It's an actual class. So that's what differentiates us from other high schools. They don't have an actual class for their student council. So our student council is our class, and it's called leadership. So unlike other student councils, we have curriculum, assignments, and things of that nature.
Was this program created before or after you joined Ritenour? Because I do want to know the basis of it, like how it got created, things like that. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yep. So the leadership program was there long before I got there. So I was actually in the leadership program when I went to Ritenour. So that's what helped me when I came back to as a teacher. I came back and I wanted to teach the leadership program. So my leadership teacher, Tavonda Palmer Harvey, she was in the leadership program. And then my former principal, her name is Jennifer Nilges, she taught the leadership program for Tavonda Palmer Harvey. So it's been like a tradition that a lot of us who have graduated from Ritenour, we come back and that we're in the leadership program, we teach it. So the leadership program is a part of the Missouri Student Council Association, MASC. So it was the leadership program, I believe even in the 90s, like the leadership program was there, but I think it looked a little bit different. It was just the student council. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when Miss Nilges was the leadership teacher, she turned it into a class, or maybe Palmer Harvey, I'm not sure, but one of them turned it into a class just to make it more equitable for our student population. Because with a regular student council program, they meet like before and after school. So just to make it more equitable for our students, we had something during school, just because, some students can't get rides before or after school, and sometimes we have to stay late or we have to get there early and the buses may not provide transportation. So the Missouri Association of Student Council has been in Missouri for a long time, but that specific leadership program came after they decided to transition from just an activities club into an actual class that incorporates activities.
That sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Can you tell us some of the key components of the program? Like, what's the basis?
So the basis of the leadership program really is just to serve. We serve others. We serve Ritenour High School, and we serve Ritenour community. And so not only just serving, but we want to make the environment more fun. We want to make the school environment fun, safe, but we want it to be a happy place. So in the leadership program, students are learning how to be leaders. What does it mean to be a leader, while also serving and helping the community? So we do community service. All students in the leadership program, they're required to do 20 community service hours a school year. So we split it up 10 and 10. So let's say someone from one of our elementary schools email and say that they need help with something. We will go, whoever signs up, whatever one of our students will sign up, they'll go and they'll help at our elementary school or anywhere in the community that needs us. We provide community service, and then we're also responsible in the class for everything homecoming. So the homecoming parade, the homecoming dance, the homecoming assembly, we plan everything, we decorate for everything, and we have another dance throughout the year, but we're responsible for, we try to bring in the fun to the school. You know, sometimes school environments, it can be so stressful. It can be structured, yes ma'am, and it can be stressful for the students. So we're responsible for spirit weeks. Like anytime we have a spirit week, or really we want to meet the needs of our population. So for instance, one of our teachers, she just was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so teachers came to us and they said, we want to fundraise and we want to do something for her. So we created a committee. It was called Bows and Hats for Hampton. Her name is Mrs. Hampton. And the students came up with an idea to sell lemonade. And so we raised money, we sold lemonade, they made bowls. And so this is where we just come in to serve. So we were able to raise up to $2,000, I think it was a little bit over $2,000 for her, while simultaneously raising money for Make-A-Wish. So everything we do, we want to give back, we want to raise money and serve our community as best as possible.
How many kids is in the program currently today?
So it's about 25 students. Okay. Sometimes it varies between about 25 to 30 students. We have some students who aren't able to be in the class, so they just join us on a club level. That means if we do something after school, they come by and help. Or if they're able to, let's say they have a free period, they'll come by my class and help work on some things. Some students who are in on a club basis, like they'll come in because I also teach science. So they'll come in as a student's mentor in another one of my classes, and then they'll just help out with things for leadership.
So can you tell me the selection process of the students? Like how do you choose a student to be a part of the leadership program?
Okay, so with the leadership program, we have an application process. So we'll have even a committee, like an application committee, and so we'll put out publicity online, and we'll also put up publicity around the school. And what we'll do is just say apply for leadership. We'll explain what it is. We'll give examples of activities that we do or things that we host. And so once we put out, you know, the QR codes, I'll send out an email to the students. And so the first thing they need to do is apply. And so it's a simple application process. We don't ask for too much, but why you want to be in the class, what's something you want to change about the school, tell us a little bit about yourself. Once they get past the actual application process, we have an interview process. And so the interview process may be 3 to 5 days, depending on how many students apply. And so if they meet all the requirements, just GPA requirements, it's not high. It's the 2.0 GPA requirement. So we don't make it really high. So it's equitable just for all students who want to be a part, because essentially leadership, the basis, we're like a student government. That's what we're looked to as. That's what student council is. So once we start the interview process, we interview all the students. We ask them a series of questions. They tell us about themselves. They tell us how they could impact the school, how they work well with others. And then once me and my co-sponsor will go through all of the students, and then we'll actually have seniors who sit on the panel. So seniors sit on the panel when we interview them, so they can give their input of what they think and how they think they'll be able to adapt to the class, since they'll be leaving the class. And then once we go through all the interviews, we send out emails and let people know who's selected. Most students get selected. And if we don't think it's a good fit for them, or maybe too much or overwhelming for them, we just tell them, hey, you know, maybe try on a club level first, just to see if you're able to keep up just with the workload of the class, because it is a lot since we plan to do so much.
Okay. The skill sets in the students. So during the application process, on their application, are you asking them to identify their skills, or are they learning about their skills while they're in the program? So it's simultaneously. So we really ask about skill sets when we do the interviews. So we'll give them a question. We want to know how well they work with others, because again, they're always on committees and they're in teams. So we'll say, let's say a classmate, you gave out an idea for a project, and a classmate, they rejected it, or they were rude about it. They said they didn't like your idea. How would you handle that? How do you handle conflict? How do you work in high stress environments?
So we're asking them these questions while they're in the interview because we want to see, even in the interview, how are you able to respond? So they're still kids, right?
Yeah,
So, kids get nervous. Yes, and I'm that's how they respond. But some of them, you'll be amazed. Some of these kids, they come in, they are so intelligent. And I'm like, how many interviews have you been on?
Do they dress the part?
You know what some kids do. Some kids do, but it's right after school. So some of them come if they are. But one time I had a girl, she came in heels, and she was professional. I said, okay. I love that. And so when we were building them while they're in the class, but we also want to know when they're coming into the class, when we're interviewing them, how is your planning? Do you use a planner? Because we have a lot of things scheduled. So what skills or what habits do you already have that are going to be beneficial for you once you start the actual class?
The success of the program, do you measure the success, or is that dependent on the students? Like, do the students measure the success, or do admin, basically?
I love that question. So the success of the program, we're always asking for feedback. So my principal, our administration, they will definitely let us know if there is something that we can do better, but we always hear good things. So we ask teachers like what they think about some of the events that we people, they're going to give you their opinion regardless. We don't have to ask a thing, and they'll be like, oh, I like this. Yes. Or you'll hear through the grapevine, well, maybe this could have been different. You'll have your naysayers here and there, but we see student participation. That's our number one factor of how well something went. How did the students participate? So we'll know a Spirit Week went well by how the students participate. Did the staff participate? What was the behavior like in the school? What was the culture like? And so after every event is done, the committee will do something, we call it a SWOT. And so we address and we analyze the strengths, the weaknesses of the event or the committee, opportunities for growth, and then threats. So the threats are things that are beyond our control. So like, let's say for instance, at a dance, we had a DJ that they played music that we didn't ask them to play. That's a threat because we gave them the list, the music to play. And so we'll say, okay, this is a threat. Next time that we hire this DJ, we need to tell them, please stick to the music that we give you.
Are the students assigned those jobs, or is the admin?
So it's just the students, myself, and my co-sponsor. So there have been different. Sometimes there was a time it was just me and the students, and then there's times when I've had co-sponsors that came along and helped, and I have one now that helps. And we assign the students the committee. So they can say, well, I'm interested in the assembly committee, or I'm interested in the Make-A-Wish committee. We listen to them to see what committee they may be interested in, but of course we have to navigate and allocate, certain students to certain things because we can identify, strengths or areas of growth. So we want students to be growing, and we want students to also teach our newcomers. So and that's something I didn't mention in the interview process, you cannot join the leadership program as a freshman. So we want you can apply your freshman year. Going into your sophomore year, you'll begin the program. So we have some students who've been in leadership from their sophomore year to their senior year. But we want them to have an adjustment period their freshman year. Freshman year, you finding yourself, what do I like, what do I not like? You don't even know where your classes are. So we don't want to put that much pressure. But some freshmen, they were in a sort of a leadership program in middle school. So some of them came in with good qualities that would assist with the program, but we wanted to give them just a little grace period to learn what is high school.
I was going to ask you if you had anyone helping you, or if you did it alone. I do know, but my listeners don't know. And is this like an application process as well, or can one of the teachers, counselors, anyone in admin just join the team if there's an opening? So
when I was I won't say voluntold, but I was gracefully told, okay, you're going to be coming. How about leadership? Because there was a transition going on as soon as I was hired. And so I had a meeting with the athletic directors, and we had some interview questions, filled out some paperwork, and it was me and another individual, so it was two of us. And then they had some things going on, just my co-sponsor, they had some things going on, and they had to depart. They went kind of somewhere else in the middle of the school year. And so coming up, I had Mr. Strong, who came on, and he kind of just said, yeah, Miss Ware, you stressed and you probably need some help. You know that people be talking, so who knows?
Identifies the stress.
Man,
he identifies.
He definitely. And I'm like, you know, people be talking, they probably like, Miss Ware up there stressed with those kids, like, and you know, he's just so he can identify it, and he was willing to help. So I had to learn, one, to ask for help. But you know, since my former co-sponsor kind of, they transitioned in such a strange space, it was, you know, earlier in the school year, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just get it done by myself and the students. Like, I didn't go seeking help, because really the job is so much. A lot of teachers don't really, they're not running to do the job. So if they are interested, if somebody came and let me know, we would love the extra help, because we always need it, because it's always so many things that we're doing at one time. But normally, just because nobody really wants it, they're not such a stickler on the specifics, like you have to apply and do this. But when there's like a complete opening and it's like deserted, they'll do an application process for it, and then teachers, they'll apply and all of these things.
How do you support participants in continuing their leadership development after completing the program?
So a lot of students, once they graduate, they'll keep in contact. And so we'll invite them, like let's say we're having a summer workshop or a summer training. They'll come up and they'll still assist with the newcomers, so they're able to pour into and teach the new students, you know, because once you're finished with the program, you're a graduate. And so some of them come up, they'll assist with like the school dances, so they take on the roles and positions that I essentially would do. So they will help check in the students to the dances, they'll help chaperone, and so I know sometimes, and even me, I'm an example. I was in the leadership program, and then I came back. Actually, I'm the fourth leadership alum that came back to teach leadership. So again, it was myself, and it was 3 others before me, including my leadership teacher. So I think that almost speaks for itself, you know, because there's so much that we learn in the program. And so even me, when I went off to college, there were things that I learned in the leadership program in high school that helped me with different committees and organizations that I was a part of in college to be able to succeed. And I knew how to balance. I learned in high school a work-life balance. So the kids are learning how, when they go off to whatever they do, post-secondary education or in the work field, they know how to navigate multiple different avenues and still completing everything with excellence, because that's what we teach them. No matter how stressed you are, you still have schoolwork, but you still have to get everything done with excellence.
I love that.
Thank you.
What are the long-term goals for the program, and how do you see it evolving in the future?
Long-term goals for the program, I think expanding our reach to the middle schools. So we want to have, I know one of our middle schools have a leadership program, but it's under a different umbrella of a different organization. But we want to expand to our middle schools and have our middle schools, you know, functioning as closely as possible to our leadership program now. I think that will allow just for a smoother transition for students, and then it could also change the climate of the middle schools. And we partner with Make-A-Wish. Like, that's an organization that we fundraise for. And so just a personal goal I've talked to just as my co-sponsor about, I want us to have more impact in our community. So Make-A-Wish is an organization that we always fundraise for. We've been doing that even since I was in high school. So a long-term goal is to be able for us to fund a child or donate to a child at Make-A-Wish, but also continue to have like a long-term program, so where we are supporting the our community or students in need at our school. So around the holiday time, we always do adopt a family, and that's when my co-sponsor, Mr. Strong, I think that's when I began to work with him, because he will always help and give us the families, and we will fundraise for the families. So if we were able to do like a year-round adopt a family, I think that would help us reach some goals that we have, to always be pouring back into our community. But of course, we need the funds to be able to do that and support year round. But that will be something that will bless us, and not just being able to support during holiday season, but throughout the entire year.
How can someone donate?
Perfect. So if someone wanted to donate, they could reach out to us at our Instagram, Ritenour Leadership, Facebook, Ritenour Leadership. And so if they were interested, they could always email me or my co-sponsor, and we could contact them and send them just more information. Ritenour High School, if they ever wanted to contact just our financial secretary about ways to support, we have our own account through the Ritenour School District. So anything that they would like to donate or help, or even when we have our own fundraisers, like when we are fundraising for Make-A-Wish, if they're following the Ritenour Leadership Instagram page, and when we post the link, they can join the link and make a page. We do something called Walk for Wishes with Make-A-Wish, so they can come to the walk, and they can also support our wish kid financially in any way, as well as when we're doing Adopt a Family. We post all of these things on our social media accounts. So whenever they see us posting anything, if they would like to support or donate in any way, they can reach out to us, and we will send them more information on how they can do that.
So thank you for your time today, Mrs. Ware, and thank you for informing us about the leadership program offered at Ritenour. And thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. Be sure to follow, like, comment, subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Thank you.